What do you think actually happened to flight MH370? Was it the pilot? Terrorists? Americans? Aliens? Maybe just a freak accident? After watching the Netflix documentary, I tried finding that site so you could search for it and it's gone. I think Malaysia just wants to forget and move on. I don't think the families will ever know. There was a oil worker who said he saw the flight flying through the sky in flames. I mean, planes don't just disappear. It's strange because the next day I watched Alaska Triangle. I grew up there, about the missing Douglas that disappeared in the 50s. Just vanished. The military searched for this plane and found nothing. No wreckage, not even a piece. Maybe flight MH370 met a similar fate. Maybe there's like a Australian triangle out there and no one knows it or something. I think there were 4 engineers on MH370 that had a patent worth a lot of money if developed, and seems like their money horse was a Rothschild. And the patent went to the Rothschild upon their disappearance. Remote hijacked and flown to Diego Garcia. Whatever they wanted from the plane was removed there. Any of the passengers that survived were disposed of, since none have been seen since. The aircraft itself was reused and became MH17, purposely shot down over Ukraine and blamed on Russia. So to preface, I'm unsure of the validity of the aircraft, among other things, of course, that hit the towers on 9/11. That said, I believe that governments or non-governmental operators with sufficient money or credit to throw around likely have a stable of undocumented aircraft in case they need to have a plane crash crisis. Kinda like how criminals grind serial numbers off of guns. If a plane's serial number is tracked as crashed, no one suspects it'll come back for another round. They are sipping drinks with umbrellas in them under Diego Garcia. After all the theories, something strange happened to Malaysia. Their flagship airline had 2 terrible accidents not related to their quality of service or maintenance. The company MA went broke. In other hand, they had the best new F1 circuit that was beloved by fans and suddenly stopped being a F1 venue. Gossip on China's Baidu forums at the time was a cure for AIDS. Seemed the general idea is South valuable that interfered with the elite's profits or power. I like to think they flew through a really big wardrobe and they're now living in Narnia. Snakes. I'll go with suicidal pilot captain. They got transported into an alternate universe dimension. First of all, thanks for posting an actual conspiracy question that's not related to fucking politics. I've always wondered if it was hacked. These planes are flown completely by computers. I remember a video about 10 years ago where a dude hacked a Jeep Compass from his laptop and took control of the car while it was on the freeway. Which is terrifying. If true, think of the repercussions to commercial aviation. I heard some of the passengers worked for a tech company that had a special patent. They wanted one of the passengers dead and took the whole thing out. Crashed in the middle of a massive body of water. Impossible to find. I don't remember where I saw this, but apparently there were a bunch of top AIDS researchers on it. I think it was shot down and no one wants to admit to it. In my opinion, most of these plane disappearances can be solved by either the pilot losing it, or the plane getting shot down by some government or terrorist group, and once they realize their mistake no one says anything. I'm thinking it the manifest plane 828. Freemason hit for sure. No more evidence than shown in the documentary. But I'm aligned with the pilot asked to redirect and he refused. Then shot down and an accident story created for the naval wargames in the So China Sea. If too much got out or the truth leaked out. Thai ladyboy gangsters with Makarovs tucked under their dangly bits. The US military accidentally blew it up during one of their training exercises and then covered it up. I think most logical answer is there was stolen tech on board headed to China. US tried to divert the plane. They refused and thus disappeared. They won't find it BC, they don't want to. So they make up all this nonsense to look in the wrong areas. I'm willing to bet there was no plane in the first place. I have heard all kinds of theories about MH370. One of the best ones is that certain countries know exactly where it is, but to reveal the location is to reveal said country's secret satellites, etc. Another theory I have heard, and this is pretty legit, that it is known where it is but that the plane is lodged in up to 50,100 meters of mud and silt, hundreds of kilometers off the West Australian coast. Nobody ever references the fact that this type of plane can be remotely commandeered. Is that the flight that had 3-4 patent holders on it. The fourth holder of said patent was a Rothschild. There is no way any government is going to risk another 9/11 happening. They shot it down to avoid possibility of it being crashed into another public building somewhere and repeating the disaster. KL03 microchip patent, look it up. Phones rang for days after plane was supposedly underwater. Several sightings across a flight pattern to elsewhere. I've always thought we'll be seeing it again. Utilized in some other fashion. I believe that there was someone very important on that flight that had some information that could have put some very powerful people in a conundrum if said information ever saw the light. Furthermore, I believe that the Titanic suffered the same fate because of some very important people on board that needed to be taken out. I believe the same tactic was used in that flight as well. Americans. That plane was full of fake people, but nobody was courageous enough to exit the plane pre-flight. I ate it with my buttcheeks like a Venus flytrap. Lest we forget TWA Flight 800. Anyone keeping up with the lawsuit? Maybe suicidal pilot and the plane is somewhere in Indian Ocean. I think it was diverted to Diego Garcia. Korean Air 007 has entered the chat. It was a PSYOP. Just wait when one day it magically reappears. One of my ex-girlfriends had one of those people as she was a caretaker who ended up on that plane. There was an interview while doing exorcism with the victim who was possessed by jinn. Jinn said that MH370 was one of the other normal agendas by elites to abduct passengers and be used as sacrifice for a satanic ritual, if I remember correctly. The jinn said the plane was taken to a secret place. Pretty sure it was somewhere in the Nevada or desert area. Although we can't trust 100 what jinn said, especially bad jinns who do possession to humans. Can't remember the clip, but I saw it once. According to the Bashar channelings, it involved a Chinese defection. Big missile. Passenger airliners don't have flares. I see you two have Netflix and we have relevant topic to talk about. I have the plane in my garage. Ha ha. That's quite the wild theory, open mouth smile. Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia.